Hi, everybody. Welcome. I'm Alice Shaw.
And I'm Lisa Z. Today we're going to discuss how education is shifting due to the pandemic and online education. And we're going to look at the energy of how this is affecting both the students and educators and families. So pretty much most of the population. I'm going to get set up, Alice, while you chat.
Okay. So I'm going to start talking about how I have been an educator for the past 20 years. And last semester, I had this little voice in the back of my head that just kept saying, sit this one out, sit this one out. And I listened to that voice. I wasn't sure exactly what it was telling me, but I knew that I needed to sit this next academic year out because I could see a reevaluation happening. And so today, Lisa and I are going to look at some of those changes that are happening in our society.
Okay, Alice, set up for the reading. Just give us one moment.
I can start?
Yeah, please do. I'm getting pictures, but I'm looking.
Okay. So sometimes when we're getting ready for a reading, some information will just start coming. And one of the things that was coming while I was taking a shower was something having to do with competition. And so this pandemic has interrupted education in a way so that it can reevaluate, it can look at itself and see if there are changes that need to be made. And I was getting that there's this competition level that needs to be changed in the generations that are coming up. So I'm looking at competition having to do with grades, sports, competition with others. So the competition is having something to do with looking inward instead of looking out and comparing yourself to others. It's like this self-paced competition. And I'm seeing that this is expanding into the sports teams like the football and baseball around the country. Those things are having to stop and reevaluate. And part of this is because the rest of our country has become too competitive, too much about winning and not about taking care of everybody else.
So Alice, it's interesting that you were looking at competition because the picture that was coming up to me that I was seeing, it wasn't making much sense. I saw a symbolic herd of children running in a field and it looked competitive, like it was like a race, like who could get to whatever said tree first. But then the picture shifted and I saw that there was, and this is symbolic of all education, whether it be children or, young college students or anyone in education. I saw these children running behind different trees. And it was almost like it was secretive, not like it was competitive, but they were like really studying something. This has to do with like study. Almost like field study, but it's just a symbolic picture. And what I see is that they're really, really like wound up in whatever studies they have in said areas. And then I see these different groups coming out and collaborating. So each said group, and also the picture, the symbolism of this running that I thought was competitive is more freedom. So there's freedom, and it's creative freedom, and whatever that means to you. I mean, it could be creative freedom in science, which has not been brought to the plate just yet. Creativity hasn't been brought into science. I see this as it looks like arts and humanities merged with science, and I see that different groups collaborating. I don't know how this is going to happen because I'm just seeing pictures and I'm not a rocket scientist here, but what I see is that there's this, like Alice was saying, this idea of competition is over, and it's actually competing with them within themselves to crack codes and information so they can better collaborate with, I see, like different groups of people, so people could communicate better and make things better. That's all I'm getting right now. I'm going to look more, Alice.
Yeah, it looks like people are competing with themselves to be the best person they can be instead of being better than everybody else.
That's
so,
exactly what I was getting.
Another thing that I was just looking at was when we did a reading for the fake news at Minnesota Street Project for Larry Sultan's retrospective. At the MoMA, Lisa, you were looking at the Middle East and particularly Turkey.
Yes.
And how women were educating their
children underground. So not only was it symbolic of this pandemic, and this is 3.5 years ago, it was also symbolic about how education was passed, and it was through family. Not to say that educators are excluded, but there's there was like a tender touch to it, the way that and it was particularly women that I saw. And I don't know what that means. It's just that the picture that I saw 3.5 years ago, women educating children. And then I saw this around the globe. So there is something to do, not to say that Daddy and Uncle Joe or neighbor Bob wouldn't be a great educator. It's just to say that there's some importance to this that I don't have the information on just yet. But Alice, continue what you were going to say.
I'm seeing this as a family activity, because usually kids go off to school. Parents don't really know what they learn. They kind of help them with some homework and this and that. But this is where people are really going to come together, especially with little kids, to understand what their family members are learning and learning those things together. So I'm just looking right now at children and kind of this more community family.
Yeah. I'm looking at community as well, Alice, and I wanted to ask the what's happening with the children who do not have the support at home. And what I'm seeing is this is where the educators are coming in. This is where the trained educators are coming in. And I see like a network of strength here. So this is where the focus I see at present time is, and I don't want to say should be because that's my opinion, but where it is, like the educators who are often astray, the ones who are there with passion, not the ones who think they have to do this because they have to earn a living, are coming in. And I see there's a really strong sense of family that these children are receiving who don't have this support from home. And I see like there's a line, there's a lot of people willing to give their time right now. And this is going to continue is what I see. Right now I have like a super visceral reaction, and that to me is a nod from spirit that this is like huge information, because I'm welling up inside and I have goosebumps. But I see that this is going to tilt the scales and shift for a large body of a large population of children who needs wouldn't be met the same in a school environment, because it looks more like grassroots kind of style, the way the picture's presenting, grassroots education. And it looks like it's more tangible stuff too, because it's outdoors. I see a lot of outdoors. I also see indoors too, but I see that even in cold places, I see exploration, because there's more flexibility where there was not before. There's more flex, even though we're actually quite contained, there's more flexibility, and being outside is more acceptable right now. And these, even if this is a measurement of a month or 2 or 3, that there's this kind of exposure, it's going to shift the way education, it is moving forward. And because I really don't see this happening for a year out, it feels like a measurement of months is what I'm feeling and seeing. Alice?
The word gentle keeps coming up, and there's something that is more about the person and less about the educational system that's coming up. I was just looking at the education in the college system, and it looks like that is where it's really going to change.
Yep.
That all of a sudden, somehow, and I'm not sure quite how this is going to happen, more people are going to have access to a college education. And it looks like having a degree is not going to be as important as it once was, because there are going to be these different ways of learning. I'm seeing certificate programs that are just as
Incredible.
as a you know a master's degree or something like that. So there are these different ways of learning, and they're going to be accepted and become the norm in a different way than they have. And so a lot of people are going to have access to these different ways of learning and understanding.
Yeah, to pony up on what you were saying, I got a validation picture on that, Alice, because I saw it almost looked like a young gal on vacation. She was sitting on a deck, and it's in a beautiful kind of tropical place. And I see her behind a laptop, and there's a bunch of people down below her, and she's going, no, 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 like this is someone who would be probably in her early 20s who's like saying no to going to join some fun because she's so engrossed in what she's doing. So it looks, I mean, this isn't far-fetched, and I'm seeing it. This is how it's going to be. There's going to be more passion involved in what kids are discovering, our young gals, college age students, I should say, are discovering, because they're given the freedom to have both. It's not, I'm not seeing collegiate scenes like campuses as much. Nothing's really coming up here, but I'm going to ask more about that and how, and what's going to happen with that, or what we're looking at right now, what the energy is. Alice?
Yeah, I'm seeing something. I'm not quite sure what it is, so I'm just going to start talking and see if more information unfolds. But I see, and this is kind of coming after what you're talking about, is experiences being more important than what is learned in class. So somehow with these outdoor classrooms or experiences, those are going to become really important in this time. I'm seeing this slowness, and I'm just going to say it's the slowness of the 70s. I don't know what that is, but it's a slowing down where things aren't so sped up. Like maybe people go to college for 6 years instead of 4 years, or they go all year long, or they go for 2 years and take a year off. I'm just seeing something is slowing down in the system. Maybe the government starts to support independent colleges so that there isn't this pressure on the college to make so much money. There's something about a relief, and I don't know what that is. There's this relief that's coming.
Yep. I wanted to pull up an independent school. I pulled up Harvard because I know what the campus looks like because I'm from Massachusetts. I just wanted to see, okay, show me what Harvard looks like. And what I saw is I didn't see people in the classroom all the time. What I saw is, and I didn't see that the participants were all members of students of Harvard University. What I saw is it's like a collective, right? And I saw groups coming in and gathering from different places. It's like teams that work collaboratively on, it's always like field research, like I was looking at earlier, coming in and discussing things. It looks like there's some kind of networking that wants to happen. Like instead of having these autonomous grand universities, that it looks like they're networks. And it doesn't look like the traditional classroom experience, but it looks like a lot of online education in addition to coming together to collaborate on what findings are. So it's like I was saying earlier, the picture of the arts and humanities merging with science, it's like, I don't even, like an event, like you'd come in for an event, okay, and this is like your giant project, but the projects are like if you were going to business school, like there's an outcome to them. So it's creating functional things that will have outcome on society while you're in school. And there's usually, like, this is all I'm getting from the picture. This is not my mind at all. So it's, yeah, this is all I'm seeing right now about this, but it looks like universities will network because they're unsustainable in the current model. That current model's dying.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And there needs to be somebody, someplace, one institution that figures out what the new model is. I'm seeing there's something that's called a low residency program where students apply for this program. They can be from all over the world, and they only meet a few times in different places. And I'm looking at these things as being maybe not the model that they are exactly right now, but something like this, where you can earn a degree from someplace that it might not even have a physical location. They might, like it might go meet at Harvard one time and then meet in Brazil next. And so there's more there's more shifting around.
This is what I'm seeing too, Alice. I don't know how to describe it. It's almost like public education is in collaboration with independent schools. There's a bridge, like everything is bridged. It's not so autonomous. Mm-hmm. And I see a lot of diversity in this, like everyone's a player, and it's not about grades because everyone's a player in this. It doesn't matter where you are in the spectrum of what one would consider intelligence. It's just everyone has a voice in this, and it's like, I can't even explain it. It's like a new kind of what's the word? It's like mycelium. It's all interconnected. Mm-hmm. I wish I was really good at being a detective here, but it looks very promising. But let's reel it back to current time, Alice. Because this is a little far out there, but it's always interesting with issues. We can look at far out there rather than people, independent people. Let's reel this back in and let's look at now, and let's look at how families are coping with this right now, real briefly to end this. Mm-hmm. How they'll cope.
So this morning, so tomorrow I have a 5-year-old who starts kindergarten, and he told me he wanted to go to kindergarten for one day, and that's it. and he's starting online. And I opened up my email, and there was a video on children and the anxiety of school. And it looks like everybody's got to figure out how to manage what they're teaching their kids, and what their own anxiety level is, and what they can take, and when to just let go, when to say, okay, this is not working, let's try something else. And that's part of this competition, is not trying to keep up with everybody else, but see where your thresholds are, and what is working for you and the people around you and your families, and what makes sense, and not like, oh, I should be getting this degree right now, or I should be in kindergarten, or I should be doing this. Again, looking at shoulds and thinking about what's really right for each individual.
I'm just looking at, I'm not getting a lot on this right now, but I just got a picture of a little boy looking out a window. And what this is symbolizing to me is feeling trapped. So there's this same feeling of like, wow, I almost do want to be at school because I feel stuck here. So I guess the message with this, and sometimes the simple pictures really mean a lot. There's a level of letting that they shouldn't all be be reeled in and forced to face these screens or their education as rigorously as you were saying, Alice, this competition thing. Because I'm feeling the same energy. A lot of if I don't do this, my kid's going to have to, is going to miss out. There's a miss out thing. And I see this little kid just kind of standing there with the hands on the window, and then he puts it down like defeated. So this is just the general energy. And I know we're just beginning, most people are just beginning this educational process, those who are indoors and quarantined. It's just, the kids are feeling a little defeated. And if I guess there's no advice to give here, but you can guess what you might want to do in your own position, because I don't want to tell you what to do, but I'm telling you that the general vibration for the community that we're reading for right now in general, which would be you folks here at the Minnesota Street Project, who have children at home, there's a level of letting go a little bit, because this is doing more harm, is what I see, to the child than good. It's almost like just let them be. That sounds horrible, but you choose to do whatever you want, because I'm no expert. I'm just giving you information. So, Alice, do you have anything else to contribute here?
I'm seeing something that's really similar. I used to teach summer school at the college level. And the first day of school, I would always say, nobody really wants to be in summer school, so let's just have fun. And everyone would go, oh, yay. And we would learn just as much as a class during the school year, but people realized that they could just have a good time while they were learning. And that's what's going to happen. And that's what should happen coming up into this pandemic, is if it's not working, have fun and learn.
Yeah, you just came into my reading, Alice. That's never happened. I saw you taking your little dude outside and you were pointing at poles and doing math that way. So, I mean, this is maybe you came in for a reason. It's not just for you, but it's for the general population. It's like, look at the lesson plan for whatever your kid has and find a way around it if it suits your child. Yeah. And don't be so hard on yourself, is what it is. It's like, it's also about the teacher, the parent, the whomever. It's not, this isn't the end of the world, and it can shift into play. I just let's push that aside here and look at the responsibility of parents who are working, and real quick, working and having to educate.
There are ways to manage. This is a place where people are being much more creative and relying on their community, which is part of what needed to happen through this pandemic, part of the message of the pandemic.
Yeah, I just saw a picture of a teenage girl coming in, and she was standing behind her mom's desk, and she was talking about something that she had to write. And then the mom got on a call after, and the daughter got involved in the conversation with one of her work colleagues about something. It was like some kind of paper that she has to write. So there's different dynamics happening here where there's just a little bit more acceptance all around, both with employers, parent educators, and the student at home. So again, everyone just be kind to themselves and have less expectation is what it looks like, but you can take that however you want. It just looks like there's a level of things will get done the way they need to get done. And it's much different than than you think it's going to look like. Than you think it's going to look like.
I'm just getting relaxed into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that about sums up for now. Otherwise, we'd be going too far deep down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
I'm going to open my eyes, Alice.
Mm-hmm.
Are you done?
I'm done.
Hi.
All right.
Good luck, everybody.
Good luck. Talk to you next week.
Bye.